Hey, it's Adam with Productivity Academy. Today, I wanted to do a little bit of a catch up. I was looking at the last quarter here. We're coming into the home stretch of 2023, and I was looking back as part of my upcoming quarterly review of what's been working. And although it's not time for the yearly review, I was thinking about this year and what's really worked well for me. Thankfully, I keep notes from my weekly reviews about what's working well, what's not, what I'm testing or what I want to try, things I've done, that sort of stuff. I've recently given a presentation about some of these things that are working, how to do an effective weekly review, and specifically one part of that, which has to do with automating, delegating, or deleting, and freeing up or creating a lot of time. So that allowed me to kind of go back and look at this. And it's getting a little meta now, but I think I wanted to share a couple of the things that have just consistently provided me with a lot of benefits over at least the last year, if not more. The first one I already mentioned is the weekly review. This year, I haven't been as good about doing it, and the reason why is kind of sad because this is be a quick fix once I get this done. But I moved last year, and I never changed the time setting in my calendar. So I changed 3 time zones didn't change it, and it fell at the end of my day on a Monday when I was highly unlikely to see it, or I would just say, meh, I don't need to do it. But if I was out, I usually go out to a cafe to do this, and I would still be out. If I remembered, I would do it. And like a lot of this stuff, or at least for me it is, if you do it a majority of the time, that's good enough. You know, you're exercising, you're flexing that muscle, you're keeping that habit going. But I wasn't happy. I was definitely not doing it like 80% of the time. It's more like 50 or 60. So I think what I did change that after I gave the presentation and realizing some ways I could improve that. Got rid of the calendar notification because that isn't so important as having it part of my kind of morning review. So I see it coming. So I added it as a task in ClickUp with notes, all that sort of good stuff. To help me get going fast. I may need to add in a calendar time just to keep that time blocked out in the afternoon where I can make sure that I have time to go to a cafe or do this other stuff where I like to get out and kind of set the environment where I'm doing my weekly review. But that continues even though I've done it at a diminished rate. That's really continued to provide results for me, letting me reflect on what's working well, what's not. And I already mentioned 2 things I can automate, delegate, or delete, and seriously looking at that and not letting myself leave it empty. I have to say something, which is part of what I was sharing in the presentation I gave was, even though you may come up with something that seems silly, just coming up with it, maybe it'll turn into something that gives you an idea for something you could do. Or down the line, when you review the notes, you'll be like, oh, I couldn't do this then, or it seemed goofy now or then, but now I can actually take this and run with it. And also just helps kind of get things going. So that's why I also like going to a different location, helps mentally set the stage for me. So let's see. The other thing I really like this year, and maybe over the past, I don't know if it's been 2 full years, but setting my weekly goals. And not, I guess I call these the A goals, like things I absolutely have to do no matter what. And that's been really fun to do because it really narrows your focus down. Like if you had to do one thing this week and you have to get it done, what's that thing? And I like that reframing. Of course, there's other stuff we got to do. You got to answer an email occasionally. You've got to do this or that. You got to pay an invoice. There's stuff that gets done, but this helps you cut that noise out. And for me, it's really helped me get back into something I tried a couple years ago, which was just working on what I wanted or needed to work on first, instead of diving into my morning routine, answering emails, working with the team, getting them going, responding to everything. I had tried this before and it didn't work out well for various reasons. And I realized once I was setting my A goals, if they were truly that important and they had to be done, then that's what I should be working on. So what I've been doing off and on this year is setting a timer. I really try to do at least 60 minutes, but I would be lying if I said I did that all the time. So I think the least amount of time on set is 30 minutes up to 90, and I work on my A goals. And that's helped because also if it's not that good of an A goal, you're not motivated to do it. So very quickly, I just got in the habit of I'm only putting down 2, maybe 3. And occasionally I've had more, but it's really fun to try to narrow that down to 1 or 2. And I keep looking over at my whiteboard because part of this was putting it somewhere where I see it all the time. And for me, as much as I work online and work digitally, it really helped to have a whiteboard. Originally, it used to be like right in front of me. After we moved, it's off to the side. But every time I get up or look around from my desk, it's right there. And to me, it doesn't feel, like some overbearing, crushing, like, oh God, I've got to get this done. It's just a reminder, right? Okay, I've been, went into my email, did a bunch of stuff, forgot what I was even doing. Oh, right, I still haven't accomplished 2 of my 3 goals. I need to get back on task. So having that there has been a really, really good reminder. And I think actually it's going to help me come up with some more physical ways of keeping track of projects and ideas, because I have, a someday file. I've got, project files, but having it digitally is one thing, but having a really quick high level physical view has been, I think will be, I should say, really effective for me. So I see it more often and it's in my brain. And so you could do this, I think, with a good digital daily review if you have the flexibility and the habit to get in there and really make sure that you're reviewing this stuff. But I like having something physical that I can look at, and it's constantly reminding me and what I want and need to be working on. So I would suggest giving that a shot. It doesn't have to be a whiteboard. It could be a Post-it note that you write down, maybe you stick next to the monitor, piece of paper on the wall opposite you, whatever works for you. But those have been 2 really effective ways to keep things going well and keep me on track. So just wanted to share those 2 with you. Hopefully that's helpful. If you got any personal favorites of your own, or if you put these to use and they work for you, leave a comment. Let me know. All right. Have a good one.